America is known to be the land of opportunity, a land where you can make history. People from all over the world come to the States to make their dreams come true, especially in the era of social media, as everyone can easily mingle, making a community of their own. However, Anna Delvey, the young girl we're going to talk about, is a successful German entrepreneur who saw New York as an opportunity to make up a whole new life, full of cons and lies. You will be speechless by how she easily manipulated and deceived those around her. Let's find out how she has done it. But before we start, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Her real name is Anna Sorokin, born on January the 23rd, 1991 in Domodedovo near Moscow. She's originally from Russia, but in 2007 her family moved to Germany. Anna graduated high school in 2011 and decided to move to Paris as an intern in a French fashion magazine named Purple. It was at this time that she started going under the name of Anna Delvey, who was given the opportunity to make acquaintances with important people in fashion as well as be introduced to a new life, the life of the rich. She was so fascinated and inspired by how this so-called elite spend their days and their money. However, in 2013, Anna Sorokin went on a trip to the USA and ended up staying in New York City. Anna Delvey's character has been evolving along the way. Through the following years, she would approach people as this heiress from modern-day Germany who has a 60 million trust fund, approximately $80 million back then. Her only problem, she would say, was that all her fortune was held overseas, and that it was just a matter of time before her banks transferred the money. And somehow people bought this story, which made her blend in easily, gaining a reputation among her acquaintances as a high-profile individual who travels in private jets, stays at the most expensive hotels in the city, and goes to fancy restaurants such as Le Cuckoo, one of New York City's finest places, as well as frequents popular downtown clubs and bars. As a matter of fact, Anna was known for her $100 bills, for she would tip the amount of money to whoever helped her with anything. But you must be surprised how her life played on, how she managed to get that sum of money, and how she was able to get herself out of trouble each and every time. Well, let's crack it up and dig deeper so as to understand how this young lady was able to fool everyone surrounding her. The very first thing she established was scenarios of her background. It actually depended on whom she was conversing with. For one time she would say that her father was a diplomat, other time she would claim that he ran a business producing solar panels or an oil executive. During February of 2017, while at the 11 Howard, Anna was categorized among the 11 Howard's most generous guests because of her $100 bills, which made people fight to take her packages upstairs. And it was at this time that she befriended Nefertari Davis, a 25-year-old concierge who goes by Nef. According to the latter, Delvey frequently stopped to ask her advice, each time slipping that tip. Eventually, Davis came to the realization that Anna was not actually looking for help, but rather her time. Indeed, over the next few weeks, they got along with each other, shopping, doing foot massages, cryotherapy and manicures together. However, Nev noticed that Anna would pay cash only and never used a credit card, which made her suspicious, especially when it came to large amounts of money. Not only this, but Anna also did some things that were odd for wealthy people. For instance, calling a friend to have her put a taxi on her credit card, or asking to crash on a friend's couch, or even getting her credit card declined dozens times. To understand what exactly is happening, let's take a step backward. When Anna first came to the land of opportunities, she had a vision of opening her own club. She found the perfect spot uptown, a 45,000 square feet occupying 6 floors of the historic Church Missions House, a landmark building on the corner of Park Avenue and 22nd. She envisioned the place as a dynamic visual arts center that would include arts exhibits, pop-up shops, restaurants, bars, a bakery and juice bar, under the name of Anna Delvey Foundation. However, buying that space would be super expensive, let alone setting it up. That's why Anna targeted several banks for a loan. And since she is a natural when it comes to playing it cool and portraying the role of a rich girl, in late 2016, she applied for a loan of $22 million from National Bank, in addition to an existing $25 million, claiming that she owned 60 million euros in assets. During the meeting, she had all the documents needed to prove her claim. The bank eventually approved the loan, under the condition of providing $100,000, which would cover the legal fees, Anna in turn convinced Fortress to loan her the $100,000, arguing that she was waiting for $22 million and would pay them back right away. Thereby, she was able to give the National Bank the money, which brings us to explain the reason why she always had cash on her but never credit cards. The owner of the 11 Howard happened to own the church that Anna was trying to buy, so she convinced him to let her stay at the hotel without a credit card. Now coming back to where we left it. In mid-2017, Anna's made-up life was collapsing, for tons of unpaid bills at the hotel were stacking on her tab with no credit card on file, that the staff had to confront her. Miraculously, the hotel received a wire transfer from Citibank on behalf of Miss Anna Delvey for $30,000. Until now, nobody has been able to understand how she pulled that up. Still, her bills continued to mount. A few weeks later, as she left for Omaha to an investor conference, the employees put her things in the storage and changed the combination of her room's lock. What's confusing is that she booked herself a private jet for $35,000. Still, this is nothing compared to when she returned to New York. Anna took another trip, but this time to Marrakesh, Morocco, with her friend, personal trainer and videographer Rachel Williams. According to Delvey, she was trying to film her personal life as a socialite. They stayed at one of the most luxurious places in the country, La Mamounia, which costs around $7,000 a night. However, soon after they checked in, the hotel staff kindly demanded a credit card on file, for as you know, the one that Anna had given them was not working. Anna didn't pay much attention to resolve the problem, the thing that fueled the employees to force them to put one that was working, or else they would call the police. Not knowing what to do, Anna begged Rachel to cover the expenses, promising to pay her back within a week. Obviously, Rachel had no other choice. The expenses of the trip we're talking about here were around $62,000, which is a lot, given that Rachel made around $60,000 a year. So you see the seriousness of the situation. There are several videos on YouTube of Rachel talking about her experience with Anna Delvey, in addition to an article in Vanity Fair in which she tells the full version of her story. Subsequent to this humiliation, the girls headed back to New York. For Anna, she went to Beekman Hotel, after being ejected from the 11 Howard. Using the same technique of persuading, she spent 20 days there without paying a dime. By July of the same year, her game was already exposed. She was at this point pretty much homeless, especially that the church she was willing to buy had been sold, which crushed her. Eventually, the outcomes of all of her actions were revived. This is to say that the bills which she didn't pay, along with several complaints from restaurants and hotels, and finally the lawsuit that Rachel filed, got her the DA's attention. On October 3, 2017, she was arrested at California Airport and brought back to New York. Throughout the investigation, the authorities gathered all the pieces and finally came to the realization that she's a complete fraud, facing 6 counts of grand larceny and attempted grand larceny. In 2018, Anna refused a plea deal which would have released her from jail and deported her back to Germany. Her trial took place on March 20, 2019. While being tried, the judge remarked that Anna showed no regrets whatsoever concerning what she had done. Rather, she was more concerned with how she appeared, that it was rumored that she hired a fashion consultant to help her choose her outfits. By April 25th, she was convicted of 3 counts of grand larceny, 4 counts of theft of services, and 1 count of attempted grand larceny. In May, she was sentenced 4 to 12 years in Albion Correctional Facility, in which she continued to pretend to be living a lavish life. Anna ended up spending 3.5 years behind bars. She was released on 11th February 2021 for good behavior. She is back to New York streets documenting life on Twitter and Instagram. What's fascinating about Sorokin is that she has proven how easy it is to fake a whole life and how people are fooled and blinded by appearances. She is a regular girl from 2 regular parents. Back then, her father was a truck driver, while her mother used to own a grocery store before marriage. Finally, Netflix is making a film about Anna's story, of which it obtained the rights even before her trials. The contract includes both names Anna Delvey and Anna Sorokin. They haven't released an exact day yet, but probably it will be ready by the end of 2021. Before calling it a day, make sure to subscribe and drop a comment sharing your opinion with our community about Anna Sorokin. I'll see you in the next video, take care.